iPhone 16 pre-orders are available, but should you pre-order? Should you spend your hard-earned money and get a new iPhone? That's a big question. I'm going to try and answer that here in this video. So they're all here, all the fanfare, new chip, new phone, new all that good stuff. And well, is it something you should spend your money on? And some I would say yes, some I would say no. Of course, I made videos the last 2 days talking about the iPhone 16 because I'm less than enamored because, of course, just like the iPhone 15, it still has no 120 hertz refresh rate, no 90 hertz. It's still stuck at 60 hertz. That for me at $800 is a problem. But if you're going to buy the phone, if you've had an iPhone, if you haven't cared about the 60 hertz, then you're not going to be missing out on anything. It's going to be the same experience. So if you've got an older iPhone and if you want to get a new one, you don't want to spend the extra money to get the Pro, it'll probably serve you just fine. So we have the new iPhone 16. Like I said, no 120 hertz. Irks me, but maybe it doesn't irk you. On top of that, still no always on display, still slow charging, still a small battery, still only 2 cameras, but they did add macro photography. So I'm actually really happy about that because I actually care more about macro photography than I do ultra wide photos. So if they took away the ultra wide and gave us a telephoto and a macro, like I would probably be pretty happy about that. And we've seen that with phones before, like the Pixel 4. Whenever it came out, it had no ultra wide. It was just a primary and a telephoto because most people are more interested in taking portrait shots and telephoto shots than they are ultra wide. But let me know in the comments if ultra wide shots are more important, right? So it still starts at 128 gigabytes of storage. Not crazy about that, especially for an $800 phone at the end of 2024. But of course, we see other people doing it as well. Google just did the same thing with their Pixel 9 series phone. So it's like, yeah, I can be mad about it, but it is what it is at this point. Like the milk has already been spilt. We can't go back and we can't change it. But of course, you can spend more money as they would like you to get more storage. So new camera. So we got a new 48 megapixel camera sensor and we've got the new A18 chip. So if you've got an older phone, here's something a lot of people don't realize, which I tried my best to point out last year. The chip that was in the iPhone 15 was a year old already. This iPhone 15 has the iPhone 14 Pro Series chip in it. So when you see all the stuff where they're like, oh, it's so much more powerful, it's so much faster, it's so more all these different things, that's all true because it's a 2 year newer chip. So if you've got an iPhone that's 2, 3, 4, 5 years old, then you're going to be in for some pretty decent upgrades. You're going to get the console quality gaming if you care about that. Big improvements to ray tracing. You're going to have the AI stuff. AI really is not a selling point for me here. I don't think it's been a huge selling point for any phone at this point. But if it wasn't a selling point for most folks for Samsung, it was not a selling point for most folks with Google. It certainly isn't going to be for Apple at this point because it's very much in the infantile stages. And what they said at the keynote is once the phone gets here, most of the features are going to be in beta. They're not even going to be available or fully available yet, or you're going to have to be in the beta software to be able to get them. And then on top of that, some of them aren't going to be available till next year. So AI is a weird talking point for Apple right now because they announced it. They're like, we invented AI. We have Apple Intelligence at WWDC at their developer conference this summer. And now it's like, okay, it's still not here. And the new phone that's supposed to be able to do all this cool AI stuff won't be able to do it. And we're going to probably be halfway through the phone's life cycle before all the features show up. So I think AI is a bigger conversation for the iPhone 17 next year. But here's the thing. The whole point of this video, should you pre-order? You should not pre-order this phone based on AI. And why is that? Because you don't get any deals. Apple is notorious for not giving any deals. They don't have any price cuts. They don't have any sales. You're going to get the same phone 6 months from now you're going to get today. Like it's going to be the same deal. It's not like Samsung where, okay, let me pre-order it so I get the free watch, so I get the free wristband, free wrist strap that goes with the watch, so I get a discounted earbuds, so I get maximum trade-in credit, so that I can get free all these extra things. Samsung and Android are the king of doing stuff like that. Apple, not so much. And also, just so you know, if you're a veteran or a first responder or military, active duty, anything like that, Apple actually has like a veterans first responders website that you can search. So search for like Apple Veterans website, and you can verify with ID.me through there, and you can actually get, it's like a 10% discount. And that's usually how I buy mine every year. But anyway, so food for thought. If you're not aware of that, take advantage of that for sure. But yeah, if you're on the fence about this stuff, definitely don't pre-order because you're not getting any deals. you're going to have these same deals later on. And there's some promises here that I want to see how they come to fruition. And it's funny to me. Like, it's so funny to me. You're going to see all these Apple videos, all these Apple people, tech reviewers who are just like, oh my gosh, it's awesome. AI, this, that, this, that. And all the time, anytime somebody complains about something that seemingly isn't Apple, they say, buy a phone for what it can do now, not what it can do later. And this is a perfect example of that because you're buying a phone on a promise. Now, granted, Apple is pretty good about delivering, just like Samsung's pretty good about delivering. And if they announce this stuff, surely it will come out. But then, of course, we ran into Google last year with the Pixel 8 Pro, and they announced the enhanced zoom, and then it never came out until the Pixel 9 showed up a year later. So it's not unheard of in this tech space that a major phone company or a major manufacturer might not deliver on something or deliver on it in a timely manner, but always the old adage, buy something for what it can do now, not what it can do later. So when you take a look at it, yeah, a lot of the AI features are not going to be available, and the ones I saw are really pretty lackluster. They're like, oh, we invented this thing where you can use the camera and it'll tell you something. I'm like, welcome to Google Lens. It's been around for forever. Maybe you've heard of it. Or it's like, oh, well, you can use the little button on the side and it can identify something for you. Welcome to Circle to Search. So basically, a lot of these AI features, they ripped off or they probably got licensed from Google and they gave a different name, which, hey, that's the name of the game right now. And Samsung's been doing that as well, which they've been doing it really well. So yeah, a lot of these groundbreaking, revolutionary AI features, they're not new. And it's something that we've had around for a while. Apple's just finally catching up. And it's interesting to me because so much of that stuff that's being done, they're like, oh yeah, the iPhone 15, it can't do it. Well, yeah, it had a 2-year-old chip in it, duh, because Apple was busy ripping you off. But even the A16 was still a very, very, very powerful chipset, probably even more powerful than the Tensor chip. And you're telling me that it can't do any of this rudimentary AI stuff? A lot of that stuff is really not that complex. So I think some of it would be available, but I think probably it's going to be one of those things where they're still using this as an opportunity to push you towards pre-ordering, which I've said this is a 3-year plan coming to fruition because they've been sandbagging you on your phone for years. They've been giving you less memory. Oh, you don't need it. Apple runs just fine without it. Or, oh, well, yeah, the A16 chip is good. You don't need the A17 chip. Why do you need the A17 chip? I mean, this one's more powerful than all the Android chips that are already out there, so you don't need that. And you hear this echoed all over the place, or, oh, you don't need 60 hertz. People don't care about that. All these different things to lull you into buying these phones that are subpar, and then, oh, finally, oh, they're obsolete. Even your iPhone 15 from last year, obsolete. It can't do the Apple Intelligence. I raise a major BS flag on that. But anyway, so the iPhone 16 will be a good phone. This is not a referendum on saying the phone will not perform well. It will perform really well. I mean, the iPhone 15 performs really well. But if you don't care about AI, I mean, the iPhone 15, if you've got it, will continue to work for you. So I don't think it's necessarily a must-have to go out there and upgrade your phone, especially going from an iPhone 15 to a 16. Now, there are some niceties. You're going to get the action button, which the action button instead of the mute slider or mute switch on the hand side, I like that a lot. I love it on my iPhone 15 Pro Max. I use it all the time. You can program it for a function feature. I use it to turn on my flashlight. So if you've been wanting that, well, that might be a good opportunity to go ahead and get that. And then on top of that, it has that new touch capacitive camera button over on the side as well, which allows you to pull up the camera, take photos, do some of the AI stuff when identifying things. You can control some more camera features inside there. I mean, that's pretty neat. We have the new 48 megapixel sensor, the Fusion sensor across the board. So a new primary camera. You get the macro capability, and then you're going to get the AI. You get the new chip. So there's a couple of new things in there that if you've got an iPhone 14, iPhone 13, iPhone 12, it might be compelling to go ahead and pick up because it's going to be the latest and greatest. And if you've got a phone that's 3 or 4 years old, it might be time to go ahead and upgrade. And if you are happy with those phones and you don't care about paying the extra money, because here's the thing, if you want to get the extra stuff like the telephoto camera, if you want to get the 4K recording at 120 frames per second, if you want to get the studio controls whenever it comes to the audio and being able to mix and remove tracks for making audio and things like that, if you want to do the highest in game, if you want the ProRes, the 120 hertz refresh rate, which I still irks me to this day that is not in the normal phone that costs $800. Yeah, I mean, the Pro is going to be a good phone, and it has the new Tetra Prism 5 times telephoto. So one thing that irked me last year was the iPhone 15 Pro didn't get the new telephoto. They continued to give you the old telephoto, which is a complete ripoff because, of course, I knew they were sandbagging and using that for this year so they could entice you to upgrade. And then you get the new chip, the AI, if you care about any of that stuff. So if you were going from like an iPhone 15, iPhone 14, and you want to switch over to the Pro side, then yeah, the Pro is going to be a good phone because, of course, it has all those things I complain aren't in the regular phone. And then it added all the new things. Again, also the camera capacitive button and all that cool stuff. So yeah, if you're looking to get a Pro, and there's a big distinction between the Pro and the regular in a lot of areas, and you're paying $799 for the regular phone, $999 for the Pro. The Pro, I think, more egregious than anything with the other phones is it only comes with 128 gigabytes of storage. Why? You can record in ProRes, 4K, 120 frames per second. Like you can shoot some monstrous video files if you light it up and do HDR and ProRes and record that stuff. Shoot, you have a 10-minute video that's like 40 gigs. So yeah, it's crazy that they start those at 128. To me, that's just utterly mind-boggling numb. I don't understand it. But anyway, anything to make an extra buck because they know you're going to want more storage. So they give you the 128, and then of course they'll upsell you, and they charge you way too much money to upsell on storage. It drives me crazy. It's like, yeah, you can get the 128, but we'll charge you like another 100 for the 256 and under 200 to go to the 512. So then you're paying like $13.99 for a 512, and I need the 512 because I do all my video recording with my phone. And somebody was actually really surprised. They made a comment about the phone being not great for media, and I'm like, no, the iPhone Pro series still, for me, when it comes to media, when it comes to recording, when it comes to video, is still, I think, the best. And of course, it works seamlessly with Final Cut Pro. You get all the support and the expedited pipelines for being able to take advantage of that stuff whenever you're editing and you're rendering stuff. So yeah, you can shoot some amazing stuff. Even in the keynote, they showed off that Weekend video where they were recording the music video for the Weekend using the iPhone. So yeah, I know that Google said that they have the best video now on their phones, but show me shooting a music video with the Pixel. I would love to see that. But anyway, new studio microphones as well in the Pro, and I'm excited about that as well because I use the Shure lav mic, but yeah, I think that the regular microphones have been due an upgrade for a while with the Pro. So there are some things I'm interested. Of course, there's the new tones. There's like the new profiles whenever you're taking photos, and you can just adjust it on the fly so it looks differently with some cool vignette, like black and white stuff, so different color options. So more customizable, more powerful, and more greater, more bestest than ever when it comes to the video stuff. And there's a stark contrast in my feelings towards the Pro and there is towards the regular, because the regular, I think, is ripping off humanity. But I actually watched a video, not a video, I'm stupid. I was reading an article talking about the sales, and actually the iPhone 15 Pro series outsold the regular series. So it seems more and more people are gravitating towards the Pro, which of course I'm sure makes Apple happy because they're getting more money out of people, but you really are getting a better phone. And one thing I like to equate is if you look at Samsung, Samsung has one Ultra phone. You get the S24 Ultra, $1299. They don't have a smaller version. And we've seen Google Pixel follow along, thank goodness, because they have a normal Pro size phone now. You don't lose out on anything, cheaper price. Well, you can get the iPhone 16 Pro, $999, and that's going to be comparable from the Apple Android world with the S24 Ultra. Yeah, there's no S Pen, no 200 megapixel camera, no 5 times telephoto. Well, you get a 5 times telephoto, but it doesn't reach out and touch the 100 times zoom. But anyway, I like that Apple does that. Now, traditionally, the normal Pro Series phone doesn't have good battery life, but hey, you can get the best of the best, no compromises for $999. I think that's fair, especially when you take a look at a lot of people saying, "Oh, the Pixel's not worth $999. Oh, the Samsung's not worth $1299." I think most people probably agree an iPhone 16 Pro is worth $999. Now, on the other side of the coin, you've got the Pro Max, which is $1199, which is an expensive phone, but it starts at $256. So basically, if they still had the 128, and it irks me, like, why did you take away the 128 in the Pro Max and start it with 256, but not the regular Pro, right? Like, why would you do that? So the Pro Max, $1199, and then you're going to pay a lot of extra money for extra storage. But yeah, big phone, 256. all the stuff we talked about already. If you want the biggest and the best iPhone, that's going to be the one for you. And then there's the Plus model. And it seems a lot of people don't really buy the Plus model. I wish they'd bring back the Mini. I thought we were going to do an alternation thing with the Max Mini, the Plus Mini. And I got to say, I really enjoyed the Plus. So I had the 15 Plus last year. I bought it. I used it for a little while. It just really irked me that it didn't have a telephoto, and I needed it for taking photos of my kids' sporting events and stuff like that. But the phone itself is a battery beast, because not only does it have a bigger battery, it has a 60 hertz screen, which to me is, again, stupid. They're ripping you off. Know that every time you buy one of these phones, and educate yourself. Go to the iPhone store or the Apple store. Go to your carrier. Look at the phone side by side. And then what I want you to do is I want you to pull it up, and I want you to do some page flipping. Oh, new update. So I want you to swipe back and forth, look at both phones at the same time, pull up Twitter, pull up Instagram, whenever you do that, and then go ahead and like scroll through the stuff and look at them side by side, and you really will see how smooth it is, how much more stuff that you can see, how less blurred it is, how less choppy it is. That's something that we have on basically $200 and up Android phones, and Apple paywalls it, calling it a pro feature. So I will continue to fight for all of humanity for this feature. But anyway, Apple's screwing you. But look at them side by side, and you can see, like, my wife can tell the difference, my kids can tell the difference. And it's not something that, it's pretty observable. Anyway, so I digress. Should you pre-order? Probably not, unless you just really want one. If you have a 15 Pro, you're going to get the AI features anyway. So if you don't care about basically the new camera stuff or the new microphones, you're probably not going to want to upgrade, because there's really not that much there. And year-over-year upgrades just don't make a lot of sense, because it's just a little few things here and there. And somebody actually, and not that I'm surprised, I have the best viewers out there in the entire world, and they leave a lot of thoughtful, inspiring comments. And somebody said, it's not about revolution anymore, it's about evolution. And that's very true. We get evolving upgrades on certain things, but there's nothing really revolutionary anymore in this phone space, at least in normal phones. So it's just a brief little evolution. A couple little things change, little tweaks here, new operating system. And iOS 18 is going to be nice. And also we've got the RCS. So RCS chat, so you'll be able to use that. Of course, that's going to roll out to other phones. So that's not exclusive. You're not going to be left out in the wind. You'll be able to communicate better with your Android brothers and sisters, send more full resolution files for like photo and video, and get notifications when you send and read receipts and stuff. So yeah, that's good. But also, what was the other also? I don't remember. Anyway, so yeah, if you've got an iPhone 15 and you don't care about AI, keep it. If you got a 15 Pro and you don't care about the new stuff, keep it. You're going to get the new stuff, new AI anyway. If you got a 14, the 14 had probably the worst battery life on any iPhone I ever had, so you're probably hurting pretty bad by now. It would be definitely worth considering. And then if you get a 13 or earlier, definitely it's in the consideration department. Trade it in. If you go through your carrier, they've got like up to, I think, $800 traded coordinated with the carriers for the normal iPhone 16 if you're going to get one of those, and then up to $1,000 for the Pro series. So maximize the trade-in credit, utilize that stuff if you go through your carrier. If you buy one, they're giving up to maximum of $650 trade-in credit. And I was kind of perturbed because they made a statement saying, oh, our phones hold their value the best and we give the best trade-in values. No, you don't. Samsung definitely gives better trade-in values, even though the trade-in, like the phone value doesn't stay as high. They give these overinflated trade-in values, and even Google gave better trade-in stuff this go around than, I got like $800 for trading in, or $700 for trading in my 8 Pro to get the 9 that I got, so I could cover that this year. But anyway, Apple's known for lying. So that's all I got. If you're on the fence, don't worry about it. Don't stress, because it's going to be the same. Whether you buy it now or buy it in 3 months, buy it in 6 months, it's going to be the same experience. They don't do sales, they don't do discounts, they don't do anything. So pre-ordering is not what it is like with the Android world. So don't stress out, don't get FOMO, stay the course. But if you are going to buy one, gosh darn it, buy that sucker. Because here's the problem. They don't put out enough phones in the beginning, especially for certain colors and for certain sizes. So if you want one, you better gosh darn be there. And let me see. If you're watching this now, they went on sale pre-order at 7 o'clock in the morning Central Standard Time today, which was what, the 13th? Friday the 13th of all things. So if you don't get one, like now, then they're probably going to run out of your size. They're going to run out of the color you want. You're going to run out of the model you want, and they're going to be stuck with your hat in your hand going, man, I wish I got it. So that's my word of caution here. That's my motivation. If you want that sucker, go get it, because otherwise you're going to be pissed because you're not going to be able to get it. And then you're going to be stuck waiting a month or two before they finally get inventory back in. You're going to be calling your T-Mobile dealer. You're going to be calling your AT&T guy being like, do you have one? They'll be like, well, we might get one on Monday. Like, word on the street, 2 more coming in Tuesday, 3 p.m., be here. You don't want to have to deal with that stuff. There might be some more by the time the holidays roll around, but they do this. They create this artificial demand, and I really think it's starting to bite them in the butt because there's so many good options and alternatives out there right now. S24 is available, fantastic series phone. The Pixel 9 series phones, fantastic. The OnePlus 12, great phones. All the foldables. Apple is tied up with, surrounded by competition now with all these appealing, attractive phones. So yeah, I think it does hurt them. And we saw this. The iPhone 15 phones sold worse than the 14s, and more people than ever are buying the Pros. So anyway, that's all I got. If you're worried about pre-ordering and you don't know, you're unsure, you want to wait for the reviews, you can. You just might have to wait a little bit longer to get the phone. But if you want one, dive in head first and get that sucker. And well, we'll talk more about this later because I have to get them. I will probably get I might buy the Pro and the Pro Max, but the problem is like I like the Pro size, but the battery life was horrendous for the 14 Pro and the 15 Pro, which usually leaves me with the Pro Max. So maybe I ought to just go ahead and buy the Pro Max. I don't know. But anyway, that's all I got. I'll cover this. I'll be doing my game day vlog. The day it comes out, I'll get mine from Apple. I will go down to the store, shoot my vlog video, and we'll see what surprises have in store. But that's all I got. If you have any questions, comments, gripes, concerns, complaints, go to the comment section. We'll hash it out there. If you enjoyed the video, if you found this helpful, please hit the like and the subscribe button and the little notification bell if you want updates when new videos come out. And as always, thanks for being here. I appreciate you watching, and I'll see you guys next time.